Okay, let's get started. I'm going to just start with a short PowerPoint presentation. Again, my name is Jack Rymack for those people that have just joined in. So it's a little short RoadEng demo. Today's date, September the 20th. Key benefits of RoadEng is quick learning curve, real-time interactivity and costing, focus on engineering overdrafting, design start to finish, easy output and sharing. We have two modules that, or actually we do have three modules. I'm just not going to focus on the third one today. It is the survey map module where you can enter in P-line data. The other two modules I will focus on today, the terrain module where you can import total station data, GPS data, LiDAR data. So there's a whole bunch of different forms of data that you could use. Today I will focus on total station data, but you can use any types of three-dimensional data. You import that data into the terrain module, and then in the location design module you design your road or your alignment. Compatible with AutoCAD, LandXML from one design software to another design software. ASCII files, which are total station GPS files, which I will be using today. Also ArcView shape files and a whole bunch of images that aren't on that list because there's too many to count. We do support image files also. Concepts that I will cover: input, output of data, terrain modeling, road design, horizontal, vertical alignments, templates, volume calculations, and reporting. And support best in the business. We do have bi-weekly webinars, as you very well know. You are in one of them today. Next one will be in a couple of weeks. I think October the 10th or something like that, or 3 weeks. And we do have a whole bunch of resources available on softtree.com, updates, as well as tips and techniques, libraries, and downloads. And we're off to the races. Demonstration time. I'm going to actually, before I start the demonstration, I'm going to, I forgot to tell you one thing. We do have a questions panel available. I have muted all of you, but I do want to hear from you. So if you have a question, just ask your question in the questions panel, and I will every so often look over and answer that question. Okay, we're starting in the terrain module. Going to import some data. I'm going to show you my import specification for this data set. It's called New County Road. So it's a space or comma delimited file. The northing is in the first column, the easting is in the second column, elevation is the third column, and then there's a code, feature name, and comment all in the fourth column. Let's test out that file. So you can see the points come in quite nicely, and your codes and your elevations and your northing and your easting all come in nicely. So this is just a little checker to see if your data is coming in correctly. If it isn't, you go back to the structure and change things in here to make sure that your data is coming in okay. Once you've done that, you save as default, and I'm going to open up my file. Choose my import spec, which I just looked at. Choose my file. Press OK and continue. And there's the data set. Let me just change my scale. Make sure that I'm in an appropriate scale. 1 inch equals 100 feet is appropriate for this type of design. Okay, just be aware for our Canadian friends, this is an imperial imperial design. We can do things in metric if you so prefer. Let me select the point where I want to start my design, right about here, and then generate my 10 contours. Go to my terrain modeling. I'm going to do minor contours at 1 foot interval, major contours at 5 foot interval. Change my minor contour color to a reddish. Keep my major contour color to a darker black gray. And my major contours will be labeled. My minors will not be labeled. And also change my triangle length. So the top part of this dialog box is calculation of your triangles. The bottom part is your calculation of your contours. I'm going to change my triangle length to something a little bit longer than 150. So anywhere from 0 to 800 length of triangles will be calculated. Anything beyond 800 feet will be avoided. That way I can get some of these areas here, because I might decide to have my curves come in a little bit beyond these points. Let me just make sure I got that selected and save and overwrite this file. Go on to my location design module, which is where you design your road or your corridor. Before I go on to that, let me just reiterate what I just did. Go over what I just did. I created an import specification for a total station file. Again, you can use GPS, you can use LiDAR, you can use P-line data. For our Forest Service friends, P-line data is very important to be able to use. I imported that data, tinned and contoured that data. Now I'm going over to the location design module and opening up that terrain file. Going into the folder called County Road Demo. Opening up that file. Press OK. Starting in that current point that I selected all the way down at the bottom of that road. Finish. Okay. You obviously can't see very much yet because I don't have a screen layout that will set up my screen to look nice. Show you how to do horizontal alignment. First of all, with my screen layout, I'm going to wash out my background a little bit more so that you don't see too much of the background. Wash it out by about 75%. I want to be able to see the foreground, be able to see the road edges, be able to see the top of cut toe fill ditches. I'm not going to use this template here. I'm going to use a different template. Go into my template editor, open up a table. I'm going to use this one right here. It's a county table, county 2-lane county road. This one has an extra little feature called a subcut for people that are doing subcuts, subcut component. Also has ditches. Ditch has widths. You can change all of those. Every template, just before I go on to design, every template is made up of a bunch of components, and every component is made up of bunch of parameters, and you can change those parameters. It's quite easy to be able to change the parameters on a template. Just double click on it and open it up. You can create more complicated templates. There's a question that was asked if I could do Gabion templates. Yes, you can. You can do different types of there's different types of components that are available to you. Let me just find my Gabion wall. There's a Gabion. Yeah, Gabion basket. The higher you go above ground, the more Gabion baskets will be created. We have different types of slope components, urban components. If you want to do some urban design, we can do that too. Bridge components. Just when you get the software or when you're using the software, just look through all these components, and if something doesn't meet your needs, we can always help you out with some of your the question is, can you create cross sections from an existing design alignment and surface outlined on AutoCAD drawings? Yes, you can. Yes, definitely. You can. Yeah, we can. Yes, you can import that surface. All right, that's enough talking about different components. You can do a bunch of different ones. I'm just going to leave this template the way it is and use that one. Another question, can I add data after the fact? Yes, you can. You can go back to the your train module and add extra data, import extra data. All you do is go to Home, Insert File, use the same import specification that you just used, and import some extra data. I don't have any extra data for this design, but you can do that. And then you would just save the design, and once you save it, you'd automatically get prompted in the location design module that external files have been modified. Do you wish to load them now? Continue, yes. Start our alignment. Make sure that I'm still at 1200 scale. Don't want to veer off too much from that. Lock my scale. I'm going to change my curve radius here. I'm going to use a design speed of 50 miles per hour. Add 3 IPs. Zoom in on my different IPs. Jump back using these buttons here. Get my default. Change that to 50. Apply. So that's a 900-foot radius curve. This little message that I have here is because, and I can change that really quickly, my design speed is set in my road class specifications set to 40. I can just change that to 50, and that message will disappear. There. Set that as my new default. Jump forward, get my default, apply. Our IP is all the way out here. I can pull that in and out, and the design will change. The entire design will change quite easily, quite quickly. Next thing I'd like to show you is how to design vertical alignment, get a different screen layout, a vertical design screen layout, one that I like to use called training profile. Now the reason that we have so much fill happening here is because I'm falling off the edge of the model. I can easily fix that here, or I could have done what I just talked about previously, is add more data. I'm just going to extend my ground, just as an easy fix, just so that I don't have all that blue happening. Blue indicates borrow, red indicates waste. Let me just see some of the other colors here. Free haul is green. We don't see any yet because I haven't done any vertical design yet. We see a lot of waste. Don't see any overhaul. Don't see any free haul. We saw borrow at the beginning until I widened out my ground or extended my ground. And now we see a lot of waste. And that'll disappear as we go along and do some design. I'm just going to change my free haul distance to something a little bit larger, my overhaul distance to something a little bit larger. Now I can start design. Start from left to right with your pencil cursor. Left click once, you'll be rubber banded to that first point. Left click again, you can see that I'm starting to get some free haul already just by adding in one point. Left click, a left click. I got some borrow going on, but I can pull that IP down a little bit more. Get rid of that borrow. Pull this IP down a bit more. There. Go beyond that last IP or PI. Left click. Left click. Got a little bit too much borrow for my liking. Let me pull that down. I think I'll fix some of these borrow and waste problems once I put in my vertical curves or assign my vertical curves. I'm going to just finish the design for now and then just fix any kind of borrow and waste problems that I have at the end of the vertical design. Using these buttons, jump back all the way to your second IP, which is right here. Get my default curve, 50 miles per hour. That will give me a K value of 109.38, a length of a 295 curve, and a site stopping distance of 465.4. You can turn off the site stopping distance and just put in your own. This is the minimum site stopping distance for a 50 mile per hour road. I'm going to apply that. Set my default, jump forward, get my default, apply. Jump forward, get my default, apply. Jump forward, get my default, apply. Okay, let's go back and fix some of these borrow problems that I have. Pull down. If you got borrow, you pull down. If you got waste, you pull up. Pull down a bit more. Try to get rid of some of that borrow. Pull down just a bit more here. Pull down just a bit more here. So now I got waste. There. I've got just a little bit of waste going on. I think I'll leave it at that. You can see the volumes over here too. We have the total cut at 6,092, the total fill at 5,647, and the mass haul by the end of the design, we got an excess of 515 cubic yards of material that you can just do a little bit more design and get rid of that eventually. Okay, just quickly, we got another 10 minutes or so. I am going to show you how to do some output in our software. I'm going to leave the design for now. But before I go on to output, I'm just going to reiterate some of the stuff that I've done up to the point of getting into the location design module. I brought in some data, some terrain data. I talked about templates, did some horizontal alignment, horizontal curves, vertical alignment, vertical curves, talked about volumes, reporting volumes as mass haul, as well as in the data window, cut, fill, and mass haul. Let's go on to output. Close down some of these windows. So this is our multi-plot page. I'm just going to go to the multi-plot tab and retrieve a layout that I already have that I like to use. Except I'm going to switch things around a little bit. I don't like to have the sections starting first. I like to have my plan profile sheet starting first. So I'm going to just move that up. So it's going to be plan profile going into sections. All right, my layout of my plan profile is not correct. Let me just change my pagination. I am going to keep it at maybe about 700 feet per page. That'll give me 3 pages at this point, but unfortunately it doesn't go the entire length of the entire range of the design, so I'm just going to change that to ... and that'll encompass ... means beginning and end in our software. I am going to offset it about a negative 150 feet from the edge so that we're not right against the edge right here against the border. There. So now we got 6 pages of design. Page 2, page 3, page 4, page 5, page 6. You can see that the plan profile rotates as you go from page to page, and the profile scrolls along with the plan. Sections. Jumping from page 6 right into the sections. I don't like all this labeling that's going on to my section. Just keep in mind, you should be doing everything when you're working in the multi-plot. Everything is set in books and chapters and pages, and when you're working in the multi-plot window, you should be working at the chapter level. Don't do anything at the page level because you will start to get things just not working out correctly. So when you want to do something, work at the chapter level. I want to change my labeling for all of my sections. Double click on my section window to open it up. Turn off the labeling. I just don't want to see these labels. You can't turn on specific labels. I had elevation labels turned on. I'm just going to turn them off. And I'm also going to change my layout. I want 1 column, 3 rows, and I still want to show my sections. I think I want to show my sections at 50-foot intervals. So I'm just going to change that to 50 instead of 100. You're going to see a lot more pages. We got 14 pages total now. So 0, 50, 100. Page 7, page 8. You can see it scrolls up. And I'm going from bottom up. Page 9. The reason I did 1 column instead of 2 columns is because I know that it was going to be a tight fit, trying to fit 4 cross sections per page. I know that 3 cross sections would probably work better. Page 10 all the way down to page 16. Have another question here. can I do all of my output in RoadEng? Do I need AutoCAD? You can do all of your plan profile and cross-section outputs, as well as all the stuff that you see here, data windows, section information, horizontal geometry of curves, legends, scale bars, north arrows. So you can do all of that stuff in our software. You don't have to go back and forth to AutoCAD if you don't want to. But if you prefer to go to AutoCAD, you can export everything and use what you see here, either in paper space or in geometric space, X, Y, and Z coordinates. So everything can be done in our software, or you can go to AutoCAD if you want to. That being said, this is the end of this demo. Just to go briefly over the output pages I just did. I brought in a layout for a plan profile and cross sections. I modified it a little bit. So you're going to have to do some modifications for each design because things might not fit correctly. You might have to do some extra pagination, some extra rotation, manual rotation. Let me just quickly show you that. Let's say that page 3 does not fit. You can do control arrows to rotate, and it will rotate it. Shift arrows to shift it around, up or down, left or right. You can do the same thing in the profile window. You can't rotate in the profile window, but you can shift back and forth. And that only affects that one page. Every other page is doing what it normally would do with the pagination set. Well, thank you very much.